Now, take us through the main reasons why people are increasingly finding it difficult to trust vaccinations.
Okay, well, thanks for giving me the opportunity to comment on this really important report. The first thing I want to say is that 8 out of 10 people are still completely confident in vaccinating their children, and we should not forget that this is actually quite a small number of people who are making an awful lot of noise for probably all the wrong reasons. However, we need to listen to this noise because it is starting to erode the trust and the confidence in vaccines that there should be. So why is this happening in Europe? Well, Europe has seen hardly any of the diseases that we are successfully vaccinating against. So in a sense, we are victims of our own success because 20, 30 years ago, people would be seeing people with measles maybe, and people with pneumonia, people with meningitis. They would have the experiences in their own children. And now the children are so much more healthy because of all the vaccines around, and people's risk-benefit ratio elaborations have kind of turned themselves upside down. And now, because they don't see the diseases, they think having a sore arm for a day or so, or looking critically at the ingredients.
So it's a certain sense of complacency on the part of these people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the particular issue with measles, why it's come to a head, is because you have to have 95% of the population immunized in order to have what we call community protection or herd protection. And that's a high number of people to reach. So even if you've got 10% of people who are not confident, you jeopardize that vaccine coverage. And this is somewhat a knock-on effect of the overall dismissed connections between MMR vaccine and the possible links to autism, which are completely untrue. But we're now seeing some of the fallout of those sorts of discussions many years later because the herd immunity has dropped.
Right. And just to talk about that 95% goal that the World Health Organization has also set, could you just elaborate a little more on that?
Sure. So the 95% goal is quite specific to measles because measles is a highly infectious virus. And literally for every one person in the room with measles, there'll be at least another 2 who will get infected if they haven't had the infection before or if they hadn't had the vaccine before. So that is a very infectious condition. And because if you have herd immunity, it means that even people who are not vaccinated can be protected. But because measles is so infectious, you really have to have 95% of the people who've had. So it's disease specific. It's not something that the WHO made up. It's a number that comes from the infectiveness of measles.
Right.